Every year we're concerned about ticks and mosquitoes. Although most mosquitoes are not a threat immediately, some are. Mosquitoes in particular, in western North Carolina, we're concerned about a disease called lacrosse encephalitis. This is a disease that mostly impacts children under the age of 16 years of age, and every year we end up with children in the hospital, intensive care units, from a bite of a mosquito because of a virus they transmit. The mosquitoes that transmit the virus that causes lacrosse encephalitis are of a group of mosquitoes that are mostly active in the daytime or early evening, and they will lay their eggs in standing water or areas that are prone to flooding. When those eggs hatch, they turn into these aquatic or sort of waterborne, if you will, life stages called larvae. And those larvae can develop in the matter of a week or two. And so it doesn't take very long. These are very temperature dependent sort of dynamics. The warmer it is, the faster those mosquitoes can develop in their aquatic life stages. For ticks, ticks are a little more tricky. They can transmit diseases that are caused by bacteria. They can transmit diseases that are caused by viruses. And then in rare cases, they can transmit diseases caused by parasites. Here in western North Carolina, we're really concerned from a tick perspective about two particular diseases, one called Lyme disease and the other one that's historically been called Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Both of these diseases can cause febrile illnesses, so where people have fever, they can have rashes, they can have chills, muscle aches, and if they're not treated quickly, they can cause very severe complications, including rarely death. With both mosquitoes and tick-borne diseases, we know your risk comes from increased number of bites. So if we can reduce the number of bites, we can reduce the risk for disease. There are simple things you can do. I like to think about them in terms of, dress, drain, and defend. If we dress appropriately, make sure we minimize the amount of skin that's available for a mosquito to feed on you or a tick to feed on you, you can reduce your risk. But sometimes you need a little help with that defense, and you may need to use things that are like repellents, and particularly CDC and Centers for Disease Control and the Environmental Protection Agency recommends a number of repellents that work very effectively against mosquitoes and ticks. I like to use one called DEET. This is a very common repellent that provides, depending on the concentration, long-lasting protection upwards of over 4 to 6 hours. But the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has a website you can review where you can choose your own repellent based on the types of activities you may be doing. The mosquitoes that typically are causing problems in our backyard usually don't go more than half a kilometer. They don't go very far. But they may be coming from your backyard, or they could be coming from your neighbor's yard. There are things that we can do in the backyard to reduce mosquito abundance, in particular, getting rid of standing water. Now that sounds easy to do, but it can be a challenge. Standing water can be in your gutters, they can be in tires or buckets that you may have to sort of, what we call tip and toss. Can you tip that item over and get rid of that standing water, or recycle or toss that piece of equipment or that toy in your backyard that you're no longer using? But there are some times where you might need a little help with mosquito control. In particular, some mosquitoes develop in tree holes that can be very hard to find and see. Sometimes it's a water drainage issue that may be tough to control on your own. I would encourage you to reach out to the local health department or a professional pest control operator to sort of look at those sort of solutions, look for new solutions. Controlling ticks are a little tougher than controlling mosquitoes. Things you can do in your backyard are simple things like mowing your grass regularly. If you live in a yard where there's actually a tree line, you can lay down about 3 feet of sort of mulch between the tree line and your yard to keep those ticks from moving into your yard. Keep playground material and benches and things like that away from the tree line so that you're not coming in close contact with those ticks as they may try to move through your yard. Let me just remind folks or let folks know that the risk for these diseases can be very low. And so keep in mind it's better to be outside and be healthy and do the simple things to avoid these mosquitoes and ticks.
Environmental health can make property site visits. If you have questions about sources of mosquitoes on your property, if you want to hear ideas about tip and toss, because let's be honest, I could look at something and think I've tipped and tossed everything, and someone else could come in and find something else that I've missed. So we could be that extra set of eyes that help you really evaluate your property, take a look at it, and give you some ideas about how to drain water away from your property, what's going on with your gutters, taking a look at your house itself. Is your house providing areas of entry for mosquitoes? Taking a look at your window screens. If you're noticing a lot of mosquitoes in your yard or on your property or around your outside space, please give us a call at Environmental Health at 828-250-5016. We will be happy to come out, make a visit, and make recommendations.